This is the latest Ubuntu Linux running on Apple Silicon Mac natively. In this video, I will show you how to install Ubuntu 23.10 on M1 and M2 Macs. This is a step-by-step installation tutorial, so make sure to watch the video till to the end to avoid any confusion. Before starting this video, I just want to mention that Ubuntu for Apple Silicon Macs is not officially supported by Canonical. However, a Maverick developer from GitHub used the generic ARM64 Ubuntu image and Asahi Installer, making it possible to run Ubuntu natively on Apple Silicon Macs, similar to Asahi Fedora Remix. For demonstration, I will be using my base M1 MacBook Air, and the process is the same for any compatible Apple Silicon Mac. To install Ubuntu on an M1 or M2 Mac as a dual boot, you need to reserve at least 30 GB of free space or higher and ensure your Mac is running on macOS 13.5 or higher. Then open a terminal and enter this command to view the drive information. Take a screenshot of the internal disk that is needed for later reference. You go ahead and remember your Mac OS username. In my case, it's M1 Mac. Then open a browser, visit this website, and click on the How to Install guide to learn more about this project. Go ahead and copy this line of code, then paste it into the terminal. Make sure your Mac is connected to faster internet to download Ubuntu Linux. Now, as you can see, the version of Asahi Installer is prompting you to enter the sudo password. Now type R to resize the macOS partition. Shrink the free space from your existing partition by entering the size in %. In my case, my Mac has a free space of 160 GB. I'm going to allocate and type 70% for macOS and 30% of free space for Ubuntu. Now, as you can see, the installer has allocated 73 gigs of free space. Now type Y to continue. Now press the Enter key to continue. Now, as you can see, this is the allocated free space. Then type F to install Ubuntu into that free space. Now the installer gives you the options to choose the Ubuntu version. I recommend you install Ubuntu 23.10 or the latest available version. I'm going to choose option 1 to install the new version of Ubuntu with the GNOME desktop. Confirm the installer to use the free space that we allocated by typing max. Now name the OS and press the Enter key to start the installation. Now, this process will take more than 30 minutes, so sit back, relax, and grab some drinks. Now, as you can see, the installation is complete and we are done with the first step. You can find more instructions for step number 2 to complete the installation of Ubuntu. Now read these instructions and follow them carefully. Now press the Enter key to shut down your Mac. Wait for at least 30 seconds. Then press and hold the power button until you see a message saying loading startup options. Now this will take you to the One True Boot, which shows all the bootable volumes that have an operating system. Using the mouse cursor, select Ubuntu and press the Enter key to boot into Mac OS recovery. You go ahead and choose the username and enter the password you used to log in into macOS. Now press enter to continue. Type the password to change the boot policies and set the system into permissive mode. Now authorize the installer by typing the username and password of the macOS administrator to finish the installation. Now voila, now you can see the installation is complete and press the enter key to reboot. Now this will boot your Mac into Ubuntu 23.10, which is running on bare metal. The default username and password are Ubuntu. Make sure to input the password Ubuntu in lowercase. Now go ahead and connect to Wi-Fi. Then open the terminal and type this command to update the password for the default user Ubuntu. Type the password as Ubuntu, and for security reasons, in Linux you won't see a password while typing. Then set a new password. Now type these two commands and update the system. Once it's done, reboot your Mac. Now speaking about performance, just like Fedora Asahi Remix, Ubuntu on Apple Silicon is next level. The performance is top-notch. The only problem I have noticed is the issue with the internal speakers. Currently, only Fedora Asahi Remix offers full support for speakers with DSP configurations, and I hope the developer of this project will implement the same down the road. If anyone has a solution to make internal speakers work on Ubuntu, please let me know in the comments down below. Now to switch between macOS and Ubuntu, first shut down your Mac. Once it's completely goes black, press and hold the power button until you see a message saying loading startup options. Just remember, when the Mac is turned off, holding the power button for 10 seconds will take you to the boot menu where you can see the both macOS and Ubuntu entries. You can choose Macintosh HD to boot into macOS. This is a perfect dual boot setup on Apple Silicon Macs with Ubuntu and macOS. When you are inside macOS, open the startup disk and change the boot order. You can choose macOS to boot automatically whenever you reboot the system from any OS. As a bonus part of this video, if in case you decide to delete Ubuntu from the dual boot, just boot back to macOS, then open the terminal and type disutil space list. If you notice under the internal drive, partitions 4, 5, 6 are the main volumes of Ubuntu. Now out of 3, look for the Asahi or Ubuntu EFI partition. In my case, disk 0S4 is the identifier of the Ubuntu EFI partition. In your case, it may be different. Just note down the identifier and erase the partition. To do so, type this command and provide a valid partition identifier. Then press the enter key to erase this volume. Then head over to the disk utility. From the menu bar, choose View and select Show All Devices. Now from the sidebar, choose Apple SSD and click on the partition. Do not touch the Macintosh HD and the first and last partitions. Now these are the partitions related to Ubuntu. Delete them one by one. Once it's deleted, the free space will be added back to the Mac OS. Now if you reboot your system, it will boot back to Mac OS. And that's pretty much it. This is how you properly install Ubuntu 23.10 on M1 or M2 Mac natively. Check the description for more information. Thanks for watching. This has been KSKRL. I will see you in the next one.